And congratulations on the film. I've had a chance to sit down and watch it, and I loved it. So congratulations.
Oh, good.
So, Constance, tell us a little bit about this film. How did you become involved with Along Came Wanda?
Well, I've known Jan for years. I was in a film called Anatomy of a Love Scene that she produced, and we instantly knew that we liked each other and we wanted to be friends and we wanted to work on something else together. So that didn't end up happening until years later. She had written a play and directed a play, and we were just about to go up right before the world was learning about COVID. So, of course, we did not do that play, but later, a year and a half later, she wrote during COVID, Along Came Wanda, and that's how it happened.
And what was your first thoughts when you sat down and read that script?
I thought it was a perfect film for the time in particular. I think that oftentimes when we find somebody trying to figure out what their life is, we're looking at a teenager, we're looking at a young 20-something, but the reality is I think that we're all oftentimes trying to figure out what the next stage of our life is. And I think it's nice to have somebody in their middle age saying, hey, I think I've been living this whole thing for other people, what other people wanted from me and from societal expectations. And I think I'd like to give it a go of trying to live my life and try to enjoy the ride from here on out. And what does that look like? So I think it offered hope in that way, and hope was something we all could really look forward to in a challenging situation with COVID and whatnot.
Was it something that you could personally relate to? Because I know, like you said, a lot of films that explore this topic, it'll be about a teenager. But recently here in Australia, a statistic was released where they said that a majority of people who do a major change to their profession do it in their 40s or their 50s. So a lot of people do those big changes later in life. Was that something that you could personally relate to?
Oh yeah, I feel like I'm like a cat. I've had 9 lives, so I certainly feel like I could relate to that in different times of my life. I don't think I'm personally as scared of change or as trepidatious of living from my authentic self as maybe Mary Beth was. But I also I've always been given the grace from my family members of being that person and not feeling like was forced to be something that I'm not. So yes, I can absolutely relate to it. I just think I probably embarked on that journey a little bit earlier.
What about the relationship that Mary Beth and Wanda has? Have you ever had a friend come into your life like that's completely changed your opinion on life or on life itself?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think Jan Miller Corin is one of them. She absolutely is one of them because she embraced this producing, writing, directing path very much in the second half of her life. She was a doctor in a previous life, and I just really admire her taking on, particularly directing and saying, okay, I've been a successful doctor and then producer, and now I'm putting on the directing hat, at the latter part of my life. And I think that should show anybody, and her friendship has shown me that you shouldn't be afraid, no matter what, to do what you want to do and to kind of put yourself out there. And yeah, I'm inspired by it and emboldened by it too.
What is Jan like to work with as a director? You've mentioned what a lovely person she is, but what's she like to work with as a director on set?
Jan, she's very insightful. She's wise. She has a clear vision, and yet she really appreciates that everybody who is that she has picked to surround her on set is intelligent and brings their own life experience and has something to say creatively as well. So she's also a very good listener. And I honestly, as a friend, I'm not just trying to toot her horn. I'm also very much a fan of her creatively and working with her.
Definitely. Now, one of the keys to this film working is the relationship between Mary Beth and Wanda. Tell us a little bit about how Jan went about finding the right actress to play Wanda, and were you there for that entire journey of finding Kathy to play Wanda?
Sure. Jan knew Kathy as well. She had known some of Kathy's prior work, and also when we were doing Anatomy of a Love Scene, we were kind of on the festival circuit together. Kathy was in another film, and we were popping up in festivals together, and then Kathy was in a different film of Jan's, in a smaller role, but she just really stood out in that role. And then she was going to be in the play with me prior to COVID, and it just seemed like a very good fit to have Kathy do that role. She's she's a lot more grounded in life, but she can put on that very fun-loving in the moment character with ease.
It looked like you two had a lot of fun making the film. Is that true? Did you two have a lot of fun while you were doing the scenes as Mary Beth and Wanda?
Oh yeah, we did. We did have fun doing the scenes as Mary Beth and Wanda, and Kathy and I do very much enjoy each other as Constance and Kathy.
Awesome. So tell us a little bit about this RV. Like, we don't have RVs in Australia, so when we see a movie from America with an RV and people take off on the open road in an RV, we all kind of get kind of jealous, because unless you have a caravan here in Australia, you can't do that. Have you ever done the RV adventure before this film, or was that something completely foreign to you?
Well, when we were kids, my parents, I'm lucky, they always were putting us in. We had something called a Winnebago.
Yep.
So it wasn't quite an RV, but it was just a smaller version of an RV. It had a tiny bathroom in the back, and we went everywhere. We went to Canada and most of the states and exploring. So I feel like I have had the RV experience in a more compact version. Yes.
Did you have a favorite scene in this film? There were so many beautiful moments in this film, but did you personally have a favorite?
I think some of my favorites were shooting the B-roll, because Kathy and I could just sort of improvise the moments in between that would fill the spaces. And I think, and we just had a lot of fun, because as we were doing it, I think we were filling in the character more and more for ourselves. And it gave us time to really play within the characters.
Now, I wanted to talk about the awards as well. This film has been so successful with the awards around at the moment. How does that make you feel? Did you always know that this was going to be a film that was going to be loved by critics and award judges and the public alike?
I guess you don't ever really know that how it's going to be responded to in that way, but what I did know and what I felt when I was making it and collaborating on it with the fellow actors and with Jan is that it was something special. It was something that we really put our hearts into and had a lot of good laughs while we were making. And I think it touches all the points of life where there are those deeper rooted moments that are poignant and we're struggling, but we're also having to, we're finding the joy and the color and the collaboration and the community along the way. So I think she did a beautiful job in pulling that off. And as long as, what we put on the screen resonates with the life that people are living, I think that is worth something.
Yeah. You mentioned before, too, about the pandemic. Did that play a big part with this film when you were filming? Did you still have restrictions and everything's over the set? Because I know a lot of people I've spoken to recently have told me some horrific stories overseas where they've had to stay on set for the entire 2 weeks of a production and things like that because of the restrictions. What kind of role did that play with the filming of the film?
It played a significant role. We had a set a person completely designated to testing and to making sure people were wearing masks and were staying distanced in between shots. Every single day we would get a rapid test, and every week we would get a PCR. We had SAG monitors for our union to make sure that, also that we were minding protocols and people were staying safe. So I have to say it was a very brave thing with all of these, and honestly an expensive thing and potentially a scary thing to do it during COVID. But we were all respectful of each other and the process, and it made it work.
Definitely. Now, Constance, I know we are running out of time very quickly, so to start wrapping up, first of all, if people missed Along Came Wanda for its cinema run, where can people watch the film now?
Plenty of places. I know anything, most places where you can rent a movie, you can watch Along Came Wanda. Specifically, I don't know if it's possible for them to watch on Amazon there. Apple TV, certainly, but videos on demand and anywhere that you can download and rent movies, I'm fairly certain you should be able to rent Along Came Wanda. In the U.S., people tend to go to Amazon, but I'm not sure if that's possible.
Definitely.
There.
Yeah, I think it is. I think it is available here as well. So I'll check that out and put that up on our website for people that are listening on the podcast as well. Constance, to finish off, what would you like to say to people who are thinking about sitting down and watching the film, and where to now for you? What projects are you working on now?
Thank you. I would say anybody who's experiencing, wanting to go through a change, who needs to feel a sense of bravery and hope and have really good laughs. Also, just a movie about friendship and discovery. If you're wanting all of those elements, you should definitely check out Along Came Wanda. What I'm working on right now, I just actually finished a documentary as a director called Finding Inner Hero, which is following 7 individuals and their life story and how it correlates to the hero's journey that we see in film and read in books.
Awesome. Well, Constance, thank you so much for taking the time to come on the show today. It's been an absolute honor having you on the show, and we can't wait to be able to check out your new documentary as well.